Subscribe to our YouTube channel and press the bell icon to get the latest updates.
Competitive sport follows a system of leagues: upper, middle, lower. In which league you play determines your stature. So if you play in a higher league, your stature is high. But if you play in a lower league, obviously you are an also-ran who aspires to go higher. But if you belong in the higher league and yet play in the lower league, that diminishes your stature. We are employing that metaphor to explain the state of today's politics to you, which is now becoming a bit like, given the way Modi government has handled campus protests across the country, it's becoming a bit like a grown-up versus children battle. Because students across the country are, something is touching a chord with them, that police can enter your hostels, your campuses, or masked gundas can enter your hostels and campuses and beat up students. It does become an underdog versus a repressive state machinery kind of equation. Or once again, a bachas versus uncle and auntie equation. That is what it is beginning to look like. Now, what do we base that on? We base that on, one, that the fact that these protests are spreading and that they are not dying out. Also, they are reaching out to newer and newer campuses. Second, I speak from experience because I go out and speak at many campuses, and I've spoken at many private campuses of expensive universities, not necessarily what you would define as left or liberal or urban Naxal, not JNU, HCU, Jamia Millia, not the usual suspects, tastes not them. And I find that students there also sharing the same sense of anger and disappointment. Anger because they see fellow students being beaten up, and so there is a natural affinity, and disappointment because a majority of them, when you speak with them, you realize a majority of them voted for Narendra Modi in the summer of 2019. And now they are realizing, or they are thinking, or they are bemused that this is not what we voted for. We voted for aspiration, for hope, for Achhe Din, new jobs, economic growth, glory of India. But what's happening right now is, because of the state is cracking down on these students, it's generating pictures which is damaging India's image globally. The economy has been in a free fall now for about 7 quarters and doesn't look like it will pick up big time soon, even as we speak. Although we saw 1 month of small industrial growth after 3 months of decline, but many other indicators are bad. Commercial vehicle sales, for example, is down 13%. Commercial vehicles which carry goods. So it doesn't mean people are not buying trucks. It means people are buying less of goods, so there are less goods to transport. And you can't blame Ola or Uber or the millennials for this either. So young people are hurt by this. There are no jobs in the market. Those who have jobs are worried that they might lose the jobs, or they are worried that there will be no raises. So a kind of mid-70s kind of pessimism is seeping into the young, and the sense of disappointment is deeper because a lot of them, an overwhelmingly large number of them, had broken out of their family loyalties, political loyalties. They had crossed the trenches of caste, language, ethnicity, etc. to go to the BJP side, not because they bought into the BJP's ideology, because they adored Narendra Modi. So they went and embraced Narendra Modi. But now the understanding is, and I'm analyzing it in this week's National Interest, that they did not do it because they hated the Muslims so much, or because they feared the Muslim migrant as a quote-unquote termite, or that they were so keen to get the Kashmiris sort of beaten into submission, or at least, or maybe to be more fair, to a government going out at this pace and again, within quotes, integrating Kashmir much better with India. They don't dislike that, but this is not what they had voted for. This doesn't increase their incomes, doesn't get them jobs, doesn't improve their lives. Because the younger voter today is transactional. The younger voter today does not believe in the old concept of voting on the basis of what somebody did to somebody in the past. The younger voter votes for what are you doing for me now and what are you delivering for me in the near future, not in my next janam in this life. So that disappointment I've begun to see. The print holds a series of events across campuses in the country called Democracy Wall. And in that event, we put up a banner shaped or printed like a wall. It's empty, so students can come and write, scribble whatever they want and put their names there. I found over the 6 months, the mood on these walls turned from optimism to pessimism, from upbeat to downbeat, from joyful to angry, from joyful to doubtful to angry to furious. And this is not, most of these are not at public universities. Most of these are at private universities where people pay a lot of fees. These are not politicized campuses, no unions, no politics, no nothing. And we are now finding things like, Bure din wapas kar do, students writing and putting their names on it. Or abusing the police, because this police versus students. If the mighty state, the almighty state, feels its senior ministers to call students anti-national, if it feels the police commissioners in uniform, who trusts the police in this country, unfortunately, they feel the police commissioners to call the students rioters, saboteurs, anti-nationals, nobody takes them seriously, among the youth at least. The parents' votes you might still have, but youth vote matters. This is a very young country. The young in the country are very confused now by what they are seeing. So the crowning example of this, we note, is Smriti Irani, who's a second-term senior cabinet minister, coming out to mock and taunt Deepika Padukone. So once again, we say the league in which you bat determines your stature. So if this government chooses to field senior second-term cabinet ministers to fight much younger film actors, it tells you that it is diminishing its own stature, just as a player or a team playing in a lower league would undermine its own.